The wind of change has blown across the Civil Service Association, bringing in a new executive. The Elections Commissioner for the Civil Service Association, who presided over Wednesday's poll, Ananias Dunley Ogis, says some of the long-serving members of the executive were voted out of office.
We have a new executive. We have a new president. Well, she's the president-elect until she's ratified by the Conference of Delegates, which is going to take place, I expect, sometime next month. There were a lot of changes in the executive, so there's a new team.
Top among Wednesday's casualties was President Cyprian Montroupe, who lost out to his challenger, Tekla Goodman, in a two-cornered contest. He was not the only well-known executive member not to have found favor with the CSA voters.
Our new executive is the president-elect is Ms. Tekla Goodman. She defeated Cyprian Montroupe. The first vice president position remains Nikolai Lansiko. He was able to hold his seat. The second vice president is Nixon Barry, and he's a newcomer to the executive. He defeated Andrew Charles. The third vice president is Kim Willie. Again, he defeated Yvonne Edwin and Ricardo Corsini. The treasurer is Giselle Warrington. She defeated Saphonis Joseph. The unopposed was the secretary, who's Anne Alcius, assistant secretary, assistant treasurer, who's Bernard Cornibat, and then the trustees, we have Oliver Lawrence, Ryan Hilaire, and Cleopatra Anthony. The last four that I mentioned, the assistants, the last five, this from the secretary, assistant secretary, and trustees, went all unopposed.
Ananias Dunley Ogis says no effort was spared to make voting accessible to members of the CSA, but the turnout, though a marked improvement on recent elections, was just over 20%.
In the last election, we had cases where voters said that the units, they didn't get the opportunity to vote because the units were of time and that sort of thing. This didn't happen very much in this case. When shop stewards called and said their voters had missed the boat, we tried as much as possible to facilitate them by sending especially the mobile units back to them. And we had such a case yesterday. But the other polling stations did very well. The fixed polling stations, the Castries City Hall, the government buildings, we had infrastructure, and we also had on the grounds of the CSA center itself. So the turnout was generally good. It was better than the past two elections, so we think it's a turn in the right direction.
Despite the efforts at making sure that everyone who wanted to vote was able to cast his or her ballot, there are questions about what has been criticized as an antiquated voting process. Some of the victorious candidates ran on a platform of change, but there may be more pressing priorities. The new executive will have to settle down quickly as the all-important negotiations over wages and working conditions with the government loom. Stanley Lucia for the HS News Force.